Why your house isn't under contract yet is what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into all that stuff, please like, comment, subscribe, share, all those fun things to help grow the channel, to stay in tune with a bunch of cool things around Wichita houses, Wichita real estate, our community, and all those things that go with it. But this one is talking about a recent dilemma slash problem issue we're seeing a lot of clients and agents face, which is, why is my house not under contract yet? And one thing to really take into note is, if you follow me or watch my data at all, watch my videos at all, you know I go by the data, and the average days on market right now is 28 for the whole greater Wichita, Kansas area perspective. But we got lulled into this attitude of thinking that, like, oh, they sell right away in 24 hours or over a weekend, and if it doesn't sell, there's something wrong with the house, or there's something wrong with my agent, there's something wrong. In all reality, that's normal real estate, and that's something we kind of got to get reused to understand that, like, that's how it always goes and how it typically is. We got so spoiled and conditioned to think that the unicorn years was how it always was, or that somehow some marketing and sales agent that's good at their job can come out here and just pull a rabbit out of their hat and have your home sold like this. And honestly, partially, that is our fault as agents, as realtors, because we go on Facebook, social media, and we brag about sold in a day, sold in 24 hours. And that's the perception that that is common, when that is the exception to the rule. That is not commonplace for houses to sell that fast, that well, that kind of thing. Obviously we shoot for that, we aim for that, we look for that to happen, but to lead the general public and people to believe that that's the standard, or that's the norm, or that is a regular thing, is misleading. So I don't want people to get the idea that you just throw a house on the market and just sells in one day, and it's that easy. Because the usual dilemma is, my house isn't selling, what do I do? How does this work? How do I make sense of it? And whether you're a client or an agent, these are some things you really need to come to understand about the marketing and sale of real estate, and how much different it is than everything else you buy and sell and market and transact. So I've seen this time and time again from different marketing agencies that try to come in and sell us advertising products, lead products, all the different things, where they think they know our industry and they don't. And I've extensively gone and been trained on marketing methods, sales methods, all the modern services and skills we need as agents in today's day and age to solve the problems of our clients. And I've come up with custom solutions, custom experiences to actually get real estate marketed and sold, not shoes or cars or clothes or all these other things that people try to bring into our industry that isn't the same, because it's a house and there's people involved, and it's a big transaction. It's very complex and nuanced and sophisticated, and it's not like anything else that gets marketed and sold. But here's the three things you need to come to understand why your house isn't under contract yet. And there's three things that get a house sold under contract, and that is marketing, advertising, and sales processes that achieve that, condition, and price. So if we're getting marketing and advertising, we're getting leads, we're getting showings, we're getting feedback, we're getting consideration, we're getting the appropriate traffic we need, both online and in person at the house is getting considered, it's getting seen. We're doing our job as a marketing and sales agent to list and market and expose your home to everyone out there. And with today's modern marketing methods, like, it's usually not an issue of exposure, of are people seeing it? Is it getting out there? Is it being displayed accurately? Now, I will say that I'm amazed at how many agents still use phone pictures, they'll use professional pictures, but even then, it's not just the pictures that come with it. It's, are those pictures and that advertising actually getting out to the most amount of eyeballs, the most amount of people out there? And if we are getting eyeballs, exposure, showings, feedback, consideration, we're doing our job as a marketing and sales agent to expose your listing to the market. Keep in mind, the 28 days on market average is how long people's houses are sitting market wide for Wichita. You have to take that account, that even if we're really good at marketing and sales, this is a long process, that it takes a while for houses to sell. And they can sometimes, yes, sell right away in a weekend. We have a plan for that. We have a process. But if they don't, then you got to sit there and go, well, what else can I do? What's going on? How do I come to understand this to keep my emotions and my mentality in the right place around achieving this result? And there's two other things you can improve and work on, which is condition and price, or you just got to write it out for that one right buyer that's coming through, that's willing to buy the house at that price and that condition. And it's really not as complicated as everyone makes it out to be. And I know there's a lot of people that try to smooth talk and be slick with everything they're doing, but really it's those three things to sell a house: marketing and advertising, sales processes, condition, and price. And based on showings, based on feedback, based on what people are saying, you'll kind of know where those things are at. With condition, you can improve the condition if it needs to be clean, there's something need to be addressed, like a smell, a color, a consideration for like a deck that needs to be fixed or windows that need to be repaired, something like that. You can either fix it or you can offer credits for it. And this is where some of the custom advice comes in from me that I know you're probably still thinking like, what do you mean? Well, it's very difficult to give specific advice to a general audience, which this is a general video, general audience. The work comes in the custom proposals, custom solutions, custom consideration of you, your house, the market, all those things. But we really work to break down everything with you in person, have it be a very personalized approach. And that's where the scale of the service comes in, with what we do as agents, essentially good agents that know what they're doing and can actually achieve the result. So there's condition you can improve. The other one is price. If people are looking at it, they're not offering, or if they're looking at it online, but then never booking a showing, like doing nothing is an action. Doing nothing is a piece of the equation. So that's something you got to read into and see that a lack of action, a lack of consideration, a lack of eyeballs, all of those have to do with some things being off, like the condition, like the price, things like that. So it's not so much of a guessing game of real estate when you really break it down and know the experience, nuanced, sophisticated side of it long term. But it's those three things that get a house sold: marketing, advertising, condition, and price. So if your house isn't going under contract yet, those three things can be improved. And one of the things too with marketing, advertising is, let's say people want to stage it, they want to retake photos. Even if you do all that, but then you don't adjust price or relaunch a marketing campaign, nobody sees it, nobody knew about it. With all that, same thing with improving the condition. If you don't put a disclosure on all of your marketing systems, if you don't get a new marketing campaign set out for people to know that, they won't know that you improve the condition. They won't know that you improve the price. So a big piece of this is having the marketing and sales systems in order to actually get your real estate transacted. And not all of us marketing sales agents agree or have the same marketing and sales systems that go with this. And that's really the key differentiator of what you're hiring from agent to agent is, what is your marketing and sales system? What is your marketing and sales process that's different than every other agent that's out there that doesn't come through with a license? The license is just like the bare minimum. Do you know how to follow the rules? Essentially, kind of like code is for a construction company and a general contractor. There's different construction methods and varying levels of service and the way they perform, just like agents are. It's not something across the board that every agent and every construction company has, because we can't all agree on the best way to market, the best way to sell. And honestly, that's what you as the consumer pay for. Is there are discounted marketing services, listing services out there, but you get what you pay for. There are higher level, higher tier, higher priced marketing and sales systems out there. I know like auction and wholesalers can be one of the most expensive options out there, but they're one of the quickest, fastest, easiest. So you kind of, again, get what you pay for. You might get quick, easy cash, but you're also paying a premium with that that comes with those things. So I'm not knocking any of these services that are out there. I just want you as a consumer to understand what you're getting and what you're signing up for and what you're paying for. And then you can have more of kind of a middle of the road value-based pricing structure like what we have is typically how we operate. So there's varying levels of service with what you get in a listing, marketing, and sales agent when it comes to real estate. But these three things is generally what we're having a conversation with regularly with clients and agents on, both from the start of their listing, so they get it, and then also a week or two in when they forget about what we said, and they pay a lot more attention with everything of why my listing isn't selling, why is it not going under contract, what can I do to get my house sold, what are you doing to get my house sold? That's where it's critical to have the showing and feedback reports, the eyeballs, the advertising reporting, the phone calls to set up to discuss what's going on. But then also on the homeowner side, what you can do to get your house sold is improve the condition, improve the price, or you're just gonna have to ride it out until the right buyer comes through. And that is a reality that most homeowners, most sellers are needing to face and discuss, and to actually come to their minds that this is a possibility that your house could not sell right away, or your house could not sell at all. And if it doesn't sell, you keep the house, you stay there. So hopefully you have positioned yourself in a place that's not a predicament or in between a rock and a hard place where you're like, I need to sell, I have to sell. Because one of the strongest negotiating places you can come from is being able to walk from the table or sit on it or not need to basically give in. Otherwise, you're going to have these buyers and buyers agents that are kind of almost like vultures coming into this thing being like, well, it's been sitting on the market for a while. What's wrong with it? How low will they go? How much can I get them to bend and break? And you come into this like hardball, almost terrorist negotiating game in the middle of the transaction because you're in such a place where like, I need to sell, I gotta sell, I have to sell. And they kind of know that and they're taking advantage of it. And it's brutal, it's nasty, it's not fun. Like I know people think real estate is just looking at houses and it's all pretty and fun and joyful, but it's not. It's honestly more like a court case situation constantly for getting blamed for things happening or not. And it's honestly a very stressful, scary time, which is why you want to make sure you vet your agent very well and make sure you have an agent that knows what they're doing, that's available, that's scrappy, that's gritty, because that's really what is needed right now in this market is really just a lot of effort. It's not just all marketing skills, sales skills, it's effort. It's hard work. It's tough. It's grueling. Setting boundaries is appropriate as an agent and as a client, because we do need our rest and our time off in order to be on when we're on. So that's one thing to understand as a consumer and a client, that if you are engaging an agent, they are people still, and they have lives and they would burn out if you just push them. Like you're going to break them and they're really no good to you or yourself by doing it that way. But anyway, this should help you to come to understand the 3 different things that go into getting your house under contract. And really the launch is the most critical, important part from the start, is getting it right from the beginning, which is where we have an extensive planning process that we go through. We have a photo get ready checklist. We do an initial site visit, then another site visit before photos, and then we go on the market to make sure we're prepped and primed for this to go well right from the start, because you get the most amount of consideration, eyeballs, showings, feedback, all that right from the start, and then it really trails. And it's kind of like the longer it sits, the worse it gets. And then you're kind of starting to chase the market, because obviously like there's people out there looking to buy. It's not like the buyers have gone anywhere, because the buyers are still seeing it. We're actually seeing more showings going on right now than we did before the pandemic. And rates were lower back then too. So there's plenty of people out there wanting to buy. The desire is there. The quote unquote demand is there. But if those buyers aren't choosing to buy your house and they're not moving forward, there's a reason for that. And there's a science to this game for you to understand of why your house isn't going under contract. And hopefully those 3 things can help you understand why your home isn't going under contract, why your house isn't selling, and what you can do about it in order to either take some actions, move some things, or it might be more of a personal thing where like, I got to ride it out. I got to be patient. I got to be calm. I got to look at the data and I got to just understand the situation. And I got to do some self-soothing around this whole thing instead of trying to externally handle all this stuff. Maybe internally, I need to handle it and be patient, be calm, ride it out. Just have that one right buyer come through for it all. My marketing and sales agent is doing their job. Hopefully, can't say that they all do, but hopefully they're doing their job. And then from there, you said be patient and write it out. Because if I showed you a report that says your average days on market for your neighborhood is 60 days, if it hasn't sold in a week or 2, that's why we go over that stat and that understanding that your average days on market for your neighborhood is 60 days. So if it takes 30, 60, 90 days to sell your house, that's normal. That's customary. That's what's on par for the course for what's going on here. But there has to be an understanding between client and agent that that's the battle we're facing and what we're up against. So anyway, hopefully that helps you learn a little bit more about modern real estate, Wichita, Kansas real estate. If you want to check out Wichita real estate or any of my other videos, feel free to scroll around the channel. If you want to get in touch with me, there's plenty of links and things down below. Love to help you out, have a conversation and go from there. But we'll talk with you soon, hopefully, and appreciate watching. See ya.